a tip. Right. So we're going to be going through 42 laws of Ma'at. I'm going to read through them so you're aware of them. I know some of you didn't even know something like that even existed. So I'm going to read through 42 laws of Ma'at, and then I'm going to read and break down or unpack the 4 agreements, right? So we're going to start like, what is 42 laws of Ma'at? So 42 laws of Ma'at, 42 precepts of Ma'at, declarations of Ma'at, whatever you decide to call it. That is one of the oldest moral ethical codes written to man, really and truly. Coming out of the ancient Kemet. And when I talk about Kemet, that is ancient Egypt, more the pre-dynastic civilization, right? That was in the Per-Em Heru. It was written in the Per-Em Heru, which is referred to today, shouldn't even be referred to as that, but the Book of the Dead, the Book of Coming Forth by Day and Night, the Per-Em Heru, right? So this were in these texts. So it's basically 42 laws, 42 different laws that really, I guess, teach you how to become aware of yourself and offer guidance on how to move, on how to be a upright citizen in the civilization, right? How to conduct yourself, how to move in a particular manner, right? So why are we going through this? Okay. Well, I'm in initiation mode. What I mean by that, I'm currently going through initiations, initiating people to become Smai-Tawi yogis or practitioners of Smai-Tawi, right? So since I'm already in this zone, I might as well offer you guys some as well. Because I'm in this zone, I'm moving and I'm building on this on a daily. So let me share some with you all, because I know, everybody could benefit from this. It's not for everyone, I understand. But if you're here and you tapped into this, then it obviously resonates with you for some particular reason. When we're talking about understanding self, knowing thyself, getting better with your mental health, healing from particular trauma, regaining your own power, reclaiming your power. You need to go through all these things. You're in a particular place where you don't know who you are. You're struggling with identity. You're never feeling comfortable, all these type of things, this could help you with, going through these things. So on the initiation, we go through about 84 days of this. 84 days of you just constantly going through these things, reading through them, becoming aware of them. How are you supposed to become aware of something without knowing that they even exist, right? When we talk about knowing self, knowing thyself, what does that look like? What are the steps to break down to actually go into knowing thyself or becoming that Heru? We speak of becoming Heru, Heru is dealing with self-mastery. Heru is the master of nature. So this right here, what I'm talking about, is about self-mastery. This is mastering your nature. Let me see what else I got. So all this is part of knowing thyself, right? When we talk about, let's be real about stuff. Talk about yoga, the healing benefits of yoga. Not even to knock it. Yes, I know there's tons of healing benefits. I think we focus on the wrong things, or we're living in a deluded state, really thinking that a forward bend is going to help you with your anger, or a spinal twist is going to teach you how to be more empathetic to everything that's going on. No. Really? No. Understand there's a time for it, but here we're delving into the mind. This is mental mastery. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to read through these just so you become aware of them. Read through this. You could just sit down. You could reflect on these things. Always go through it again. Let's just go. So 1, I have not done iniquity, unfair or unjust. 2, I have not robbed with violence. Okay. 3, I have not done violence to anyone or anything. 4, I have not committed theft. So even as I'm going through this, which I didn't say earlier, you're going to find that a lot of these particular codes and rules, you could find in other religions, in other schools of thought. Going through this here, some of them even repeat themselves. But yeah, this is one of the oldest codes again. So yeah, the 10 Commandments, all those type of things, they break out from here. So already did 4. So 5, I have not murdered man, woman, or child. 6, I have not defrauded offerings, being upright in fiscal affairs. 7, I have not acted deceitfully. 8, I have not robbed the things that belong to God. 9, I have not told lies. 10, I have not taken more than my fair share of food. 11, I have not uttered evil words. 12, I have attacked no one. 13, I have not wronged people or bore them evil intent. So let's stop at 13 real quick. Also, as we're going through this, keep in mind when this was written. This was written in ancient times, thousands of years ago, thousands of years ago. So, keep that in context as well when I'm reading through these codes. So some of them just won't really fit into now, our world now. 14, I have not borne false witness nor supported false allegations. 15, I have not been an eavesdropper or pried into the matters to make mischief. 16, I have not spoken against anyone. 17, I have not allowed myself to become angry without cause. 18, I have not laid waste the plowed lands. I've not littered, right? Littered or just done things to make the plowed lands unholy. 19, I have not committed adultery. 20, I have not committed any sin against my own purity. 21, I have not caused terror. 22, I have not done that which is abominable. Right? 23, I have not uttered fiery words. I have not been a man or woman of anger. 24, I have not stopped my ears against the words of right and wrong. 25, I have not stirred up strife. 26, I have not caused any to weep. 27, I have not lusted or committed fornication, nor have I lain with others of my same sex. 28, I have not avenged myself. 29. I have not worked grief. I have not abused anyone. 30. I have not acted insolently or with violence. 31. I have not judged hastily. 32. I have not burned with rage. 33. I have not multiplied my speech over much. 34. I have not done harm or evil. 35. I have not stolen from or disrespected the ancestors. 36. I have not coveted my neighbor's goods. 37. I have not spoken scornfully. 38. I have not cursed the netter. The deities, the energies, the gods, right? 38. That was 38. So 39. I have not behaved with arrogance. 40. I have not been overwhelmingly proud or sought for my distinctions. 41. I have never magnified my condition beyond that which was fitting or increased my wealth, except with such things as are justly my own possessions. And 42. I have done what is required for my daily obligations. Right. So that's on a list. It's on a checklist. Going Sunday, whole week, Sunday through Saturday, right? So we go through that. So imagine going through that for 84 days. You're reading that in the rising. Why read it in the rising? Because if it's something that you want to become aware of and you want to do your best to stay clear of, right? It makes sense for you to know about it ahead of time. You're not going to do something like, if there's a place that you're not supposed to go, you should know that before you go there. You're not going to go to the place you're not supposed to go and be like, yeah, I think that was the place I shouldn't have gone. So reading through these things in the rising, like after a meditation or something, somewhere in the rising, he puts it in your spirit or he puts it in your being. And you're more aware of it as you move throughout your day. So read through these in the rising, and then at the end of the day, you check them off. You check off, okay, damn, I missed that one. Damn, I didn't have this. Or whatever the case. So another thing with this that I wanted to mention is you hold your own self accountable. You're responsible for self. Like when you go into like the 10 Commandments, it's more about thou. It's someone else, someone outside of self telling you what you shouldn't do or what you should do. Like, I don't know, like you're a child, it's outside of self. We're always dealing with things outside of self, the greater power outside of self, the greater the power that's in you. You know what I mean? You are that God, you are that goddess, You are from which you come. You are that greatness as well. You know that. So with these, it's like you saying I. You're taking responsible for yourself. I have not done this. I have not done that. It's a declaration. So just that in itself is more empowering for me, really and truly, So you're going through these things. So imagine 84 days of going through these things. You're going to start to see particular patterns. You're going to start to see where you fall short, And it's for you to become aware of these things. You start to say, oh, wow, I keep on finding that on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm, the same thing. I keep burning with rage and over multiplying my speech. Why is that? What is happening there? So it allows you to put a magnifying glass on that particular area. Oh, this is the day when I go here and here and here. And yeah, okay, maybe I need to stop doing that. Or maybe I'm having too much of this. whatever the case, it allows you to put a magnifying glass into that particular area of your life, you know. And this is for those that want to change. Do you know? You have to want it. It has to come from within first. Like, I'm not talking to people that don't care, that you have no desire to change, or you feel that you're okay with how you move. That's perfectly fine. Obviously, you wouldn't be here right now still listening to me talk about this if this wasn't you, if I wasn't talking directly to you, you know. So journey's not for everyone. It's an intense journey. Ain't gonna lie. But, you know, for those ones that are on self-mastery, for those that are on that path, this is the way forward. So, yeah, looking at these things, they're great, you know. I give thanks for learning about these things, and just even being in Kemet and having such magnificent teachers to break it down to me or read it off the wall and all that greatness. But it's a lot. It's 42. It's 42 laws. I found that when I had no type of direction whatsoever, and I was just a wild youth coming from the streets, you know what I mean? This was just definitely helping me groom myself, you know, to the point where it's in me. I don't have to really look through these things at all. It's just become me, right? But also as well, I could be real hard on myself, like anyone else. I got to a point where after years of going through this, I was tired of looking at myself through the scope. It was putting a different level of judgment on myself. And there was just a lot of things to constantly go through and like, oh, am I doing this? Am I not doing this? Am I doing, yeah. And it was just like, it just became overwhelming, you know. I deal with something, you know, it works when it works, you know. It was working for me for a particular time, but when it was time to move on, I understood that. It was time to move on. So I give thanks for that. Know when it is time to move on. So it served the purpose for the time being. But it's just a lot. Like, I'm cool. I'm cool on this. I want you to be aware of it. We're all at different stages of our journey. I understand that. So I'm telling you where I am with it now after dealing with it for 10 years plus. You know? So the ancient, we always tend to glorify, exalt anything that's come from the ancient world, right? Oh, from the ancestors, the ancestors. Give thanks, but not everything that is ancient, you know what I mean, is for me. And that is not even to say that, like, just because it's ancient, they're all right. Like, we couldn't have evolved and come up with better ways, better systems, better programs in this modern time. To say that, like, just this code of ethics from thousands of years ago is we haven't come up with anything better since then, anything more effective, anything simpler to use. Do you know what I mean? It's like, then, shoot, what are we really doing as human beings? Like, we haven't evolved at all. Do you know what I mean? So, no, I'm not one to hold on to something just because it comes from ancestral origins. It needs to make sense to me now. You know, I need to be able to utilize it. But if there's something better, then I'm going to use that. I'm not just going to go and, no, I got to keep using this because this is ancestral. No, I'm going to move with the times. I'm going to learn the lessons of old. I'm going to attempt to bring them forward. I'm going to stand on the shoulders of my ancestors, but I am going to move with the times. I'm a modern man. I'm an ancient modern man. You know, so that is knowing thyself as well. I know that's me. You might think different. Cool. I don't care. That's fine. But now moving along, let me make sure I covered all this. So moving along, that's 42 laws of Ma'at. Cool, right? Not familiar? Print them out. Go through it as well. So I'm giving the old and the new, right? what I currently go through, I deal with the 4 agreements. The 4 agreements. This is from Don Miguel Ruiz. And yeah, he has tons of books, you know. Even one of the books that we read in our initiation is The Voice of Knowledge. You know, brilliant book. But let's just go into the 4 agreements. So even just saying that alone, 4 agreements. So you have 4 in comparison to 42. 4, 42. Which one would you like to put in your pocket? Like, you know what I mean? So within these 4 agreements, I'm going to break these down here, right? We're going to unpack them. Starting with 1, be impeccable with your word. Okay? Be impeccable with your word. What does that mean? I go over these agreements just like we read through the book. When I'm reading The Voice of Knowledge, I'm more reflective, I'm more meditative on what I'm reading. I just don't read it just to get to the end, just to get to the destination. Let me just read it. Like, no. Take time with it. I'm on the journey. I give thanks to the journey. I'm like, nah, I'm just riding with it. So I read it probably about 2 to 3 times. So I'll read a chapter, then that's just me like just skimming through. Then I'll read the chapter again. All right? Then I'll read the words at the end, the things to ponder on, and then I'll go back and I'll read that chapter for the 3rd time. That's how I read that particular book. And it's the same way that I want you to reflect on these 4 agreements. And all the agreements, really and truly, even the 42 laws of Ma'at, reflect on them like that. Don't just read them through just to read them. So be impeccable with your word. That's number 1. What does that mean? Speak with integrity. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Say only what you mean. This is being impeccable with your word. Don't get caught up. Just say exactly what you mean. Say only what you mean. This will help you just be impeccable with that word. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or gossip about others. So being impeccable about with your word is also aimed at you as much as it is others. So it's easy to fall in with those groups that just gossip with other people or gossip about other people. Do you know what I mean? We love to talk. We love juicy things and we find that juicy gossip, right? But that's not allowing you to be impeccable with your word, you know. In the same way that whatever you need to say to someone, like, say it to their face. You know what I mean? Say it to their face. Don't say it behind your back and all that type of stuff. Like, you know, that's a snowball rolling downhill, really and truly. That could get ugly. So you don't have anything nice to say about people, just don't say it anyway. You know, but why say something bad about someone else? Say it directly to their face. You don't have the courage to say it to their face? Then don't say it at all. That's it. That'll help you be impeccable with your word. But also using that word to speak against yourself. You know that we are the biggest judges, do you know what I mean, of us, you know, scrutinizing self, you know, just beating yourself up about particular things. Like, don't use that word against you, you know. And the next one, it just falls right in line with what I'm talking about. Is like, use the word or use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. That right there will allow you to be impeccable with your word. So use the power of your word to speak in the direction of truth and love. So if you're saying things that are true, things that are loving, especially about yourself, you could be impeccable with that. You know what I mean? Give yourself those compliments. Who's going to compliment you if you don't compliment yourself? You know, speak that truth to yourself. Be honest to yourself. Speak love to yourself. Know when you don't want to be around that, when you don't want to be around someone that is doing other than that. someone that is speaking down to you, someone that is taking you for granted, someone that is using the word to speak against their self or yourself. You don't have to be around that. It's your choice. It's your choice. So once again, be impeccable with your word. We'll be here forever talking about that, but I think you get the gist of what I'm talking about. Moving on to number 2. Don't take anything personally. Don't take anything personally. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. I know I'm saying don't do it, but you're going to do it anyway, but don't do it. Work on not doing it. It's like we feel like we're just there by default all the time anyway, just constantly taking things personally. The world is always against me. Everyone's against you. You're such a victim. Oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Just stop it, yo. Just stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. Don't take anything personally. What do you mean, Smai-Tawi? What do you mean? How can I not? First of all, nothing others do is because of you. Nothing. Nothing others do is because of you. Okay? Nothing. You're not responsible for that. The person has their own mind. They're able to do what it is that they want. You didn't just deal with mind control and no. Nothing others do is because of you. Let's just leave it there. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. Their own dream. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. What I mean, their own reality, like based on our experiences, our upbringings, do you know what I mean? The lessons that we had in life, our realities are going to differ. We're going to see things differently. That's just what it is. Your parents tell you particular things. The teachers has groomed you a certain way in school. You've grown up in a particular culture, that affects your reality. You've grown up in a particular religion. All this affects your reality, So what others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream, not yours. So you have to understand these things, just when having a conversation, don't be upset because someone doesn't agree with you or you don't see eye to eye on something. You're all just coming from different places. It's fine. And who cares if no one agrees with you? Really, who cares? People don't need to agree with you. It's not a big deal. You don't have to go around debating everyone and trying to bring everyone into your religion and leave people alone. Let people gravitate to what they want. You know what I mean? I never got that. Never got that. People are going to be into what it is that they want to be into. You don't have to be the Pied Piper all the time. Hey, come over here. This is what I'm doing. You need to be doing this too. I don't know what you need to be doing. I'm comfortable doing this. This makes me feel great. So that's why I'm doing it. It might not make you feel great. You know what I mean? I love doing yoga, eating the way I eat and studying the things I do. I love doing all those things. That's what I love. I know myself. So this is what I like doing. You may not give a shit about any of those things that I do. You know what I mean? This is whack, Smai-Tawi. I got you. That's cool. That's cool. I know myself. You're on that journey. Find out what works for you. We're still on don't take anything personally, by the way. Right? When you're immune to the options and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Okay? When you're immune to the options and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. That's it. It's outside of self. You have to understand what's in your control. If something's in your control, okay. Get upset about it. Damn, I could have stopped this from happening, but I didn't because whatever the case. Okay, be upset about yourself. Don't dwell on it. You know what I mean? Just see it for what it is, get the lesson out of it, and fail forward. That's what it is. In order to move forward, 9 times out of 10, you have to fail at doing something to get the lesson that you need in order to achieve and be successful next time. I think it was John C. Maxwell that has the book Failing Forward, and I think that's a great book. You know what I mean? So yeah, failing forward. So we're talking about things outside of self that you don't have any control over. Okay? Remember that. There's no sense in becoming upset over something that you have no control over. We always want to be in control of everything, right? And that leads us down just a path of misery, suffering, thinking that you're in control of it. No, you're not. You're not. You're not. Let me give you an example, really and truly. Like even with my children, all right? So when me and my ex got separated, like I was still trying to be in control of what my children did and what they didn't do. And as parents, we do this. Whether you live with your parent, whether you're living with your children or you're not living with your children, you feel that, okay, well, I'm the parent, so I should be in control of this person's life because they're my son, they're my daughter. And I was beating my head up against the wall because things were happening the way I wanted it to. I wasn't agreeing with this, I wasn't agreeing with that. And you know what? After like years, let me not say years, probably like a year and a half or whatever the case, beating myself up about it, getting like tons of grades and stressing out, I just had to fall back, throw my hands up. I'm not in that house anymore. There's no way I could control what happens. There's no way I could control what happens or what my son or daughter eats when they go to their grandmother's house. Like, you know what I mean? I can't control that. Do you know what I mean? I want to be in control of this. I want this little being to do this. I want my ex to do this and do this. But you know what? That's out of my control. And I had to just accept that. And I had to just say, you know what? Let me see. What can I control? I could control what happens when they're in front of me. And that's what I dealt with. When they're in front of me, when they come over to see me, that's when I have more control of things. That's cool. Other than that, I just leave it. I have to just leave it. And what also made me okay was like knowing that no matter how I feel about her or her my ex or her mother or whatever the case, I need to know and come to terms with that they're going to do what they feel is best for the children. It might not be in line what I feel is best. That's fine. They're not me. You know what I mean? We're two completely different people. Our experiences, our realities are completely different. But they're going to do what's best, what they feel is best for them. When the children are in their control, they're going to do what's best for the children or what they feel is best based on what they know. And I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? That's it. We're all attempting to do our best, really and truly. Do you know what I mean? But it took a long time of me beating on myself about it for me to get there. So that position, that situation is out of my control. Leave it alone. It's like you being upset because it's raining outside. Oh, it's raining. Oh my God, it's raining. I hate this place that I live in. It's always raining. It's out of your control. So I guess you're going to be upset every time it rains now, right? Is that the life you want to live? No. But this is what I'm saying. Let's move on so that was just wrapping up, don't take anything personally. So moving on to number 3. Don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. Assumptions. What is it? What is an assumption anyway? Like, you know what I mean? Let's talk about it. A lot of the issues that we find that we create for ourselves is from us assuming things. Like, when we start to assume things, like, we have no information, we have no no real factual information that we're going off of, but we're just jumping to whatever conclusion that's thrown up in our within our mind, right? That's a scary place to be. You know, it could make you start thinking the worst about someone that you love. You know, someone that you know to be trustworthy, because you're going through assumptions. All of a sudden, you make them untrustworthy. That's deep. Something you really want to be careful of. You know, I'm sure tons of wars and people have been killed over just assumptions. Don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Right? So communication is going to help. Improved communication is going to help us with those assumptions, right? Find the courage. So it takes courage first, right? Find the courage to ask questions and to express what it is you really want. Let's be real, like, these words don't do us justice. Like, words will never do us justice. To try to express exactly what's going on in your mind, or a feeling that been in existence before the words for this feeling were even in place. It's like, you're never going to get justice by it. So we have to just find better ways to express what it is that we want, better ways to communicate more effectively, you know. And all these roll into the next. I know that I need to always think about the best way for me to communicate. You know, when I'm really focused on getting a particular message across, or understanding someone, or whatever the case, text and writing is not going to be a good look for me, really. You know, because so much things gets lost or misunderstood in text, because in text, like, you can't get a feeling of that person. Like, there's no feeling, there's no energy in it. It's just like the words. So I, for one, I do my best to talk to people. If it's a conversation that we're starting on text, I'm like, nah, I know where this is going to go. You know what? We'll speak when we see each other. Yo, call me. Video call me. Even better. I take advantage of that. I love video calls. I get to see the person just like that person is in front of me. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. Once again, find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. This is everything I was talking about, right? Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. And this is a regular thing in the field that I'm in. Like, let's be real. I'm in the business of people. You know what I mean? People. I deal with people all the damn time. Healing, training, exercising, coaching, talking about nutrition, dealing with them in yoga, instructing. It's people. It's just people. So people. So I'm constantly faced with people. And there's so many times, like, there's just issues arise. Simple things that are miscommunicated, right? Then they blow up into other things, from misunderstandings, right? And it's by assumptions. You know, I'm going to say pause on that real quick, but like, this is just for people out there in similar works, or maybe not, but you just know what I'm talking about. You feel what I'm talking about because you go through it yourself. When you're providing a service for someone, you're not that person's slave, okay? Just because a person gave you money to provide a service, you're not that person's slave. But a lot of time the buyers, people that are purchasing the service, they feel like that all of a sudden. Now, they're not going to use that word, obviously, because that word is negative. Like, it brings up so much other things. But this is what the person is treating you like. Like, I've been treated like that so many times. Just because someone pays me for sessions, someone paid me for initiation, they feel like I need to just jump through any hoop. They think that I need to be there on call for them. They think that every time that they send a message, to my phone or to my inbox, I just need to be there for them. I need to respond. Like, no, I don't. Okay? I don't. It's an exchange. It's not a one-way thing. And you just, hey, I gave you this money now, so I own you. Like no. You sought me out because based on what you saw, you come to know like, hey, this brother has something to offer. Something that I feel I need. So think of that off rip. I'm not your slave just because you paid me. I really don't care. I really don't care for the money like that. I don't want to be working with anyone that feels that like they could just treat me however they want just because they paid me. No, I've cut off people for that. All money's not good money. Right? I'm not going to be jumping through your hoops just because you gave me money. No. You're going to treat me right. You're going to treat me with respect the same way that I respect you, or I'm not going to deal with you. So make sure that you treat that person, any guide, any person that's offering you a service. It's a two-way street. You're not up here because you're paying the person. No. And I don't have to take your shit either just because you gave me that money. Know that. All right? And yeah, I'm always dealing with that. And when you're in these services and you're dealing with money, you're self-employed and all that, this is going to happen. But yeah, I want to just put that out here while I'm going through the don't make assumptions. Right? Because that goes in line with communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. If you're paying me for something, I'm providing a service. I'm not on call with you, okay? Let's keep it in context. Right? And I think like the lines get blurred. The lines get blurred with money exchange as well. Like all of a sudden, like just because you exchange money with someone, like someone gives you money to provide a service, they think that you're their best friend. No. I don't need any new friends. I'm a guide. I'm a coach. I wouldn't have known you if you didn't make contact about inquiring about my particular services. I wouldn't have known you. I'm not here just doing these things just to like, hey, yeah, I need more friends. I don't need any more friends. I want to work with people that need the work done. People that are ready to do the work. That's it. So please don't come through and feel that just because you made a money exchange, you just bought a friend. All right? No, you didn't. You're misunderstood. Right? Still on don't make assumptions, because that was an assumption. C, with just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life by not making assumptions, right? Okay. So I think we're clear on assumptions. These are things that you're going to have to continually go through. It's not like just by reading them and just sitting down listening to what I'm talking about here. Like your life is going to change. You have to like apply this. You have to be focused on adjusting these aspects of yourself. You have to have this conversation with yourself on a daily to even become aware of it. You know, we're trying to unlearn and relearn things, break ourselves away from a particular program and reprogram. There's nothing wrong with programs, right? But programs that are destructive, that are chaotic, that take you away from self, yeah, there's something wrong with that. But we all use programs and systems, you know what I mean, to help us. And number 4, always do your best. Always do your best. It's just, right? Do your best. That's easy. Yeah? Is it really? Is it really? Sometimes we just deal with things on a surface level. Always do your best, but what does that actually mean? Always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment, right? It will be different when you are healthy opposed to sick. That's real. Your best is going to look different from moment to moment. So bring it in terms of exercise. If you're feeling great, you know what I mean? You do 20 push-ups on a regular, that's nothing. That's what you do. That's what you do on every day. But now all of a sudden you feel ill. What is your best going to look like while you're ill? How many push-ups are you going to be able to do? 5? Maybe none. Maybe your best in that moment is you not doing any push-ups. You not doing any exercises. You taking your ass to your bed, you know, getting some, mixing up your spirulina, your moringa, your andrographis, mixing up whatever it is of those, taking these teas, letting the herbs work, and just rest, recuperate. That's what your best looks like. So you see how we just have to throw out exercise altogether because that's not the best. That's not the best for me in this moment. You know. So your best is always going to look different, and be okay with that. You know. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. When we talk about mental health, you know, we're always talking about, it's always self-judgment, self-abuse. You know, we're the worst on ourselves. Constantly judging self, constantly judging. So under any circumstance, when you just simply do your best, you'll avoid self-judgment, right? Self-abuse and regret. And you could just leave it as that. In that moment, it's about working on these things in that moment. Hindsight is always the best sight, but being in that moment and working through that, like, okay, what am I doing? Okay, I just did this. Okay, is this my best? Yeah. You know what? This is as best as it gets right now. Cool. I'm happy with that. Good. I'm satisfied. Cool. Moving on. I could just leave that where it is because I'm sure that in that moment I done my best, and I could move on. I don't have to think twice. Like, damn, you know what? If I would have studied a little bit more, or if I would have did this, I would have got. No, I know in that moment I did my best. I know I couldn't study anymore because I already studied as much as I needed to. You know, now if you didn't, then that's a different case. So it's about being in that moment with any of these things, in that moment, not after the situation, you know, has already left. In that moment, it's about you being impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. You know, you can get relief from this in hindsight as well, but the more that you practice these things, being aware of them, and you're able to catch yourself in the moment, the less time that you spend in misery and suffering, really and truly. You know. Yeah. Let me see. I think that's it. Dealt with all my notes. So that's it. Thanks for this time. If you are interested in anything like this, you know, when I talk about Smai-Tawi, it's multiple layers of holistic living that we deal with in Smai-Tawi. It's not just yoga, it's entering the mind, it's eating, it's exercise, it's all these things promote a wellness, a betterment of self, allows you to raise to that Heru self, Heru. Heru, or some call it Horus, coming from more of the Greek terminology. But Heru is the master of nature. So this is self-mastery. Shanti?